The root of all needs and expectations is an unfulfilled spiritual desire. I repeat, the root of all needs and expectations is an unfulfilled spiritual desire. Let me just do this quickly. Sorry about that. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Hello.
can.
Hear you, Carol. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. What happened that live stream thing came on, and I, instead of pressing got it, I pressed leave the meeting. I'm a little bit nervous, but okay. The root of all needs and expectation is an unlimited spiritual desire. Satisfy your spiritual desires through the practice of meditation, and you'll be able to interact successfully with anyone. No longer needy, you will enter into relationships simply to share and enjoy. There'll be no strings attached in the way you give of yourself. Your love will be unconditional. We must learn to bring spirituality into our relationships. Others will learn by our example. It's a way of inspiring and uplifting each other. Well, thank you for your patience. Anyway, I wish I also could give you a flower the way Sister Shauna gave that sister a flower. But anyway, I thought, how can I enter this? What is my entry point into this little chat with you this morning? And I enjoy gardening. So I thought I will use what I understand a little bit. So I've got a picture here. And this picture is of seeds. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see the seeds? Here's a seed, there's seed. Hello? Please say yes or something, or breathe heavily or something.
Yes,
Okay,
I can. Yes, we do.
Very good. So this is also a seed. Do you recognize this one? You recognize this one? It's an acorn seed. Hey, what fell on Henny Penny's leg in your childhood head in your childhood story. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make about seeds is that you cannot tell what is going on inside. You cannot tell what the seed will grow into, or that one, or that one, or that one, on that, if you don't know your seeds very well. So the seed has secrets inside. It has a special DNA that will make that fruit or flower become exactly what is in the DNA, and it will be in absolute love. The flower or the fruit or the veg will grow. Just absolute love, because that's its purpose. So it's in that little seed. There is the DNA of an apple or the DNA of a pear or a peach or whatever. And so eventually, when you plant the seed, it requires sunlight, it requires heat, it requires water, it requires maybe a little bit of fertilizing, requires maybe weeding, it requires a bit of attention to function properly. And eventually, if the relationship between the gardener and the weather and the seed is ideal, then you will have perfect food, perfect fruit, perfect vegetables, perfect flowers. And the beauty is that the seed just is there for us, for life on earth. And I'm going to show you this. You will get this. You know what this is? Hey? It's a watermelon. I hope you know it's a watermelon. Eh? It can't be that strange. Can you see it? Right. So that comes from one of the seeds. But when you look at that seed, you wouldn't say it's this. You know, I got here one of those seeds, an orange seed. You couldn't tell that by looking inside that seed. And we have a beautiful apple. And we have a pear. And we have a plum. No. Sorry, I couldn't bring an acorn tree, eh? It's a bit big. I mean, an oak tree. This acorn ends up as an oak tree. You understand? I couldn't bring it into the house. Anyway, so now, what's my point? My point is, sometime or other, that seed wears out, it gets tired, and it dies. But the beauty is, when you plant an apple seed, you get millions of seeds in there. When you plant a watermelon seed, you get millions of watermelon seeds in there. So there's a cycle that takes place. That's the relationship between the fruit and the seeds. So sometime or other, that seed dies, or it gets the flower, it doesn't come out nicely. Doesn't come out nicely because the pest attacked it, or the plant didn't get enough water, but there was some, the relationship between the soil and the gardener wasn't ideal. So we get a fruit, or we get a flower that's got marks on. Okay, so why am I mentioning this is that seed has got deep secrets inside of it. Now we are also like seeds. We are like seeds. And once upon a time, we were also perfect. We were so perfect that, like the flowers, we just became the I am. We were a blessing to the world. But like the flower, we started being attacked by the vices. And what are the vices? It's what Daddy talks about there at the beginning paragraph. It's things like anger, things like hate, things like jealousy, irritation, pride. Oh yeah, I've got a list. You can see it. Can you see it? I see it back to front here. Okay, so I have to look like this. Vices, anger, pride, jealousy, attachments, hate. That is some of it. Okay, you know what the others are, like envy and resentment and wanting, being dissatisfied with your life, being discontented. So that is the pest. It's pest in our lives. And when we experience those things, then it affects our relationships with other people, because when we experience those emotions, we withdraw. Our relationship between us and the environment, us and our colleagues, us and our siblings, us and our partners, us and our minds and our hearts and our feelings, when we have pests like devices in our lives, we actually have the ability to heal ourselves. Like Daddy says, you have to look at yourself and change yourself. The flower cannot do that. It needs outside intervention. The outside intervention that we use is God, because God is the eternal being that is always 100% full of all values and virtues and everything of the best. So God is the supreme soul, and we are like seeds. We are sitting like seeds inside this body. This body is our temple, and we use this body to express our qualities of love and peace, all these qualities. Okay? You must put your glasses on if you can't see. Okay, sorry, it's such a lot. And in order, I'm going to watch the time here. So I'll read it quickly. We are peace, power, purity, courage, honesty, integrity, beauty, harmony, clarity, happiness, contentment. Now just jump to the last line, patience, truth, we are non-judgmental. That is when we are perfectly integrated. And this is very like that in that seed that we plant, that's got that DNA in it. We also have this DNA inside of us. But because of our the pests that attack us like this, our true nature gets covered up. The plant might get covered up with fungus, or the flower gets covered up with fungus, or get covered up with ants or snails or worms. Now the ants and the snails and the fungus in our life is this. All right. So what do we have to do? We have to get help. And like there's a gardener in the real garden, we have to get the supreme gardener, and that is God. And so we have to turn inside, because the seed dies in the garden, but the seed in here is eternal. It is eternal, it is beautiful, it is perfect. And so how do I get the aid of God is through meditation, because God washes me like a dirty child. God washes me, God hugs me, God loves me. God says, you're my child, you belong to me, I belong to you. You can come to me anytime. You can leave your feelings of shame here. You can leave your feelings of inferiority or not good enough or not beautiful enough or not clever enough. You leave it with me. But in my eyes, in God's eyes, you are perfect, because God only sees this. He doesn't see defects. He's incapable of seeing. He's aware of it, but he knows the defects. He knows the defects makes us unhappy. And no parent wants to see their child unhappy. So what I have to do is I have to change my attitude towards myself. You know, there's a song that Michael Jackson sings. It's called Man in the Mirror. I don't know if you know it. Man in the Mirror, he made it famous. He never wrote it, but it said he realized that in order for things to change in the world, he has to change. So when you talk about the mirror, it's not the physical mirror. It is the mirror of the way I am. So I have to change my attitude. And this will help me. I have to change my attitude about the role I play in relationships. So when I'm angry, or when I'm resentful, or when I sulk, or when I withdraw, or when I get critical, when I get judgmental, is because I'm speaking through the vices. I'm not speaking through my spirituality. I'm speaking through the vices. I'm actually speaking through defects. And the way to help me change, look at myself and do what they call an attitude adjustment. So this, I realized I came alone. You know, in Christianity, they talk about I came naked into the world, naked you will leave. That means I came as the point of light, the soul entered into that body. By the way, seeds are a big thing, you know, because that body that I entered, what came from seeds, the seeds of your parents. So I came alone, I leave alone. Tests come to make me move forward, not to make me fail. My words and actions influence others, even with the way I look, my body language, the smile on my face. My mouth smiles, but my mouth is tight. My eyes don't screw up with the light. So people pick up all these things. I cannot bring happiness to others by trying to please them. We do that because we want something from someone. We want their attention, we want their love, we want their approval. Pain will come as a great teacher. Sorry, I'm rushing through this thing, but let me give you an example of my own life. I've got a relative who became very ill in the last 6 months, and I didn't realize how needy I was of her. It's because of my own feelings of lack of love or abandonment that I thought I had. And so when she became very ill, I went into a bit of a panic and became very afraid. And then I spoke to the sisters, and I was emotional. And with their help, I could sit in the room of this person who was very angry because she was so sick. She didn't expect her life to be like that. She was very angry. And I sat and I just transcended and became the soul. And I saw her as the soul. And she became peaceful and not so aggressive, quite gentle. And I felt clean. I felt I had I'd overcome my hunger for what someone else couldn't give me. So this is the beauty of meditation. You don't have to go to the pharmacy. You don't have to go shopping. You don't have to eat. That's a big one, you know, Cadbury's. You can just turn inside and be with yourself, reconnect with yourself and be with God. God doesn't reject anybody. God is available 27 at no cost. Unlike the electricians or plumbers, you know, they charge after hours. God is free for everybody. The beggar, person living in the shack, the person who's a billionaire, the person who has nothing. Okay, so now, any questions? Or do you want to say anything? If I can't answer it, just too bad, but anyway. Anybody want to say anything? Okay. So it's awfully quiet there. Anyway, so we have to I have to learn to be self-sufficient, to be my own parent, to be my own sister, my own brother, my own partner, my own child. And the perfect blueprint for that is the way God is. God fulfills all my needs. I just have to make myself available. And I realized that although I'm eternal, this body is not eternal. Sometime or other, I'm going to leave this body. In other words, this body it's physical, it's matter, it will die. Definitely it will die. And so that is why I want to make peace with myself, because I don't want to come back next life with the same issues. I want to die peacefully. I don't want to die frightened. I don't want to die with regrets. I don't want to die not having fixed what I broke. I don't want to die not giving back what I had taken from someone. I came into this life and I want to leave more complete. So that's why I meditate, so I can get rid of all the pest. So now I want to tell you the story about, I've got time. Oh, wow, I'm out of time. About the what you call that big fat worm in your garden, it's a caterpillar, that one that eats up everything in overnight. It's a caterpillar. It devours. Now we are like that. We devour. Not only food, but other people's energy. We want approval, all that. So eventually this caterpillar is so big it can't move anymore. And it makes itself a cocoon, what they call a chrysalis. And it gets in there and the body breaks down. It disintegrates, it's a gooey mess. And so what happens is that there's certain cells in there called imagining cells. Imaging, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. And those imaging cells, and those cells steadily go to work and it forms a new creature in there. And it's sitting in the dark. And eventually this comes out, this beautiful, there's a little hole there, and then you see a little foot stick out, and then a leg. A little leg, and eventually out comes this beautiful, incredibly light, incredibly quiet little creature called the butterfly. So this is what we have to do. We have to go inside and break down everything that is of no use to us and become a thing, not a thing, but to become a being that just donates love and donates acceptance and donates, you are my brother, you are my sister, to the world. And lastly, I want to tell you this. There's a song by that Michael Jackson sings. It's called The Man in the Mirror. Maybe if you've got a moment, you can look it up, read the words, listen to the song. Thank you. So I want to do, anybody like to say anything? Ask me a simple question, please. Nobody wants to say anything. Okay. So, Brother Natia, can you play a little music? I just want to do a short meditation. Hello? Hello? Anyway, I'll start. So we just relax in our chairs. You can close your eyes if you like. Just breathe in. Just breathe in. And now I move away from the chatter of the world. And I go into the seed stage. I go into that quiet place inside of me where there's only place for me and God. This is a secret room in me where I am in a laboratory. I am like the alchemist. I can change all the baseness within me into the purity, like gold, 21 carats. This is the place inside of me where I am uninterrupted. There's deadly silence. I can drop my mask here. I can be vulnerable. No harm will ever come to me. And when I drop my mask, my feelings of not being good enough disappear. The chattering voices in my head soften. And I become aware of the beauty inside of me. I create our own beautiful garden. And the Supreme Gardener comes and he washes me. He holds my hand and walks me through this garden that only has safety in it, that only has tranquility in it. Here I am restored, and I feel gratitude, and I feel a sense of humility at being loved so much. And I come back into this world feeling more balanced and integrated, more relaxed, and peaceful, and loving. Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, Sister.